You're restoring me piece by piece.
What's up, my restored beauties? Welcome back to my channel. Last time we spoke about how to eliminate or how to stop blaming your spouse, and today we're going to talk about the habit of how to stop criticizing your spouse. And we all do it. Sure, there's more than one way. There's more than 4 ways that I'm going to share with you guys out there that you can research yourself and how to stop criticizing your spouse, or help someone that you know that's what they're doing. So do your own research and find out for yourself. But these are 4 that I think they're very central, very important, and I wanted to share them with you guys. Before we get into the topic, I would like for you to hit the subscribe button and also the bell button. This way you're notified every time I upload a new video. Sometimes when we criticize people, it's because we're critical of ourselves too. Now, we're not talking about constructive criticism. We're talking about criticism when it becomes a habit, a daily vocabulary, painful and unbearable. Sometimes people who are critical of others are like that because they have not seen better, or they don't know better. They were raised in a critical environment. They had critical parents who were always criticizing them and never accepting average, but always criticizing you and pushing you for better and better and perfect. So now you've seen that and experienced that in your life, and you bring that into your marriage, and you think that it's okay. You may not even think, actually, you just do it, instinctively or just naturally as a habit, because that's what you've seen, that's what you're accustomed to. And sometimes we do it intentionally, and sometimes, like I said, it just comes out naturally, and sometimes because that is how you view yourself. You think you have the right to view others in the same way. Sometimes being critical of others comes out of insecurity or immature, like being immature. We need to learn to treat ourselves with acceptance, kindness, in order to treat others likewise. Because if we're mean to ourselves and we're always critical of ourselves and we're always like finding something wrong with ourselves, chances are you will do the exact same thing with your spouse, okay? And this type of habit, we criticizing our spouse continuously, eventually it will poison your marriage, your relationship with your spouse. Because no one wants to stay married to someone who makes them feel judged and not accepted. Sometimes even when we say we love our spouse, we find ourselves hurting them with our words more. And at times, when we are criticizing others, we're also trying to protect ourselves, because we feel threatened by them, or by who they are, what they do, we feel threatened or challenged. So here are some ways that we can use to stop criticizing our spouse. Instead of poking your spouse by pointing out his or her problems, start by flushing out your critical attitude and just say, I need help. My needs are not being met, or I feel threatened, or I feel not protected, or I feel challenged, or say what you feel, how you feel, instead of blaming and criticizing your spouse because you're not getting your way, or you're not getting things that you think you should get. And when we're criticizing our spouse, it will be hard for them to hear us, to hear our needs, or to hear what we're feeling, because they're trying to defend themselves, and they're thinking in their head, what do I respond to this? why is he or she saying stuff like this? I need to defend myself, you know. I need to put up my guard so I don't get hurt. Criticism is the road to complaining. And the problem is when criticism becomes a habit, meaning you do it day after day after day. And where there is constant criticism, your spouse might withdraw and eventually blame you for everything. Focus on the positive parts of your relationship. Do things that will help you both get to know each other, or that will make you feel loved. 3, make it a habit to write to each other every single day, or once or twice, or more than once or twice a day, and write something that you appreciate from your partner or in your partner. And once you do this daily, there will be no room for criticism, or there will be no room to find things to criticize your spouse for. And number 4, make time to connect with each other in an emotional level daily, because our actions depend on that. We often find ourselves saying, I just don't feel connected anymore. That's why I just don't care. And that eventually says a lot about the relationship, about the connection between you and your spouse. So stay connected, stay in love, do things that are more positive about each other, even if you think that there are things to criticize your spouse, you know, for. When you're in love, and when you love that person, try to bring them out with love, not with a finger, always pointing your finger at them. Try to bring those things up in a way that it's not going to make them feel condemned, belittled, devalued, disrespected, unloved. Bring stuff that you both can work, you know, and fix, instead of just pointing out their mistakes, their flaws, you know, their problems. Instead of always saying, oh, you leave your shoes everywhere, your socks, you know, you're just so nasty, sloppy, and this and that. That person, your spouse, might know that are sloppy and they're dirty and careless, or they know that, but they don't need us to bring that up, you know, because think about it. What are you trying to achieve when you say something like that? Are you trying to fix your relationship, your connection with your spouse? Because if that's what you want, that's the wrong way of going. If you want something fixed, you always go with a positive attitude, with positive words of encouragement, with uplifting words, you know, not just words that can bring your spouse down, you know, because no relationship will last like that. Nobody wants to have their flaws pointed out, because we all have them. And it's okay if you talk about it, you bring them up, but in a way that it's not going to make the other person condemned, or feel like they're unworthy because of what they do, or who they are, you know, because sometimes people will act due to what's going on inside of them, you know. So get to know each other and keep an emotional connection all the time. Build a habit of being appreciative and thankful every single day, and there will be no room for any of that other stuff, you know, because you're focused building your relationship, your marriage, through positive ways, through positive affirmations, positive connections, positive words. You want to know your spouse no matter how long you've been married, you know. But if you do it with a critical eye or with a critical attitude, it's not gonna work. It's just gonna make make it worse. I hope you found this topic, this material, these 4 ways helpful, and that you're going to practice them and use them in your relationship. And if you do, leave a comment below and let me know if you have ever found yourself being critical of your spouse, or how did you overcome it, how did you get out of it. I would like to hear from you, and leave it in the description below. And I mean, leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear your side of the story too. I mean, follow me on all my social media. As usual, everything will be in the description below. And be blessed.
You're restoring